Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's unboxing channel on YouTube. Today I'm unboxing something that isn't brand new, but it's utterly stunning, and it's something I'd like to revisit and share with you because it's just so good. And it's the Anthem STR Preamp. Now this fully balanced design preamp is so much more than a preamp. It has got 32-bit 192K DACs on board. It's got Anthem's Room Correction, or ARC, on board, allowing you to tune any number of different things. It's got assignable and calibratable inputs, so you can get up to like 30 different inputs or something silly like that. The phono preamp is absolutely stunning for both moving magnet and moving coil, and it's got EQ curves that you can dial up on the remote control for all of the old recordings that you might be trying to re-listen to before some of the standardization occurred. It's utterly stunning. It's still designed and hand-built in Canada. The build quality is absolutely second to none. The key elements, the circuit topography, the total harmonic distortion, the feature set, absolutely stunning at any price, let alone how affordable this product is for its quality. So, let's have a look. Anthem. Canadian company. Their packaging is pretty muted. There's a freight carton with some basic information associated with model and serial number on a scannable end. There's a bit of a branding along with the ARC logo. There's a sticker here implying the plugs and sockets we're going to see inside, and the rest of it really doesn't imply the quality of the product that we're about to see. Opening it, given the fact that it's taped closed with some of that sort of factory tape, is pretty straightforward. As always, avoid dragging the knife directly over the product if you can. The box within a box design, of course, is reserved for all of the higher end products, and in this instance we've got a freight carton which can be disposed of if it ends up getting messed up, as you would expect. And this one's come all the way from Canada and, to be honest, is in remarkable condition. Lifting the freight box off, given how tight it is relatively straightforward, but take your time. Then, looking at the product, there's an emulation of the scannable information associated with the model and serial number, and not much more. It's taped with a single piece of packing tape at this point, the fabric tape, and again, very straightforward to get access. It's when you open it that you see some of the accessories that this product comes with, and the pride that they've gone to as far as ensuring that this product arrives to you in perfect condition. Looking at it, we've got a couple of accessories. The first is the basic remote control. Now this gives you the ability to navigate the on-screen display and change the setups and other things along those lines. You've got mode, input, output and volume. It's got a good weight, and the batteries actually go in the end. There is, speaking of the batteries, there's actually a set of AAAs just off to one side. Now, the preamp can be controlled in numerous different ways, so the remote is relatively rudimentary, but you can control it via any number of different control protocols, including network and RS-232, and so it's wonderful to see that they've incorporated that in the product. There's a huge, comprehensive full colour manual. It's bilingual, obviously, because of the influence French has in Canada. So we've got two complete operational manuals, and again, very, very comprehensive. And it needs to be. This can be a relatively complicated product. Cool, out of the box, plug it in, it'll sound wonderful. But that last 5–10% can be found by having a good play and tweak. And it's important you back that up with the information associated with it in the manuals. There's a basic thing associated with warranty. There is, it's have a look actually. Firstly, we'll get rid of that. That's USB cable, USB A to B. It's about 3 meters long, and a plastic bag. In the smaller plastic bag, we've got a 3.5mm 4 conductor plug. Snip that, get into it. Go. So we've got a basic interconnecting cable for the purposes of control. Again, a 3.5mm TRRS ring sleeve, whatever it might be, with the 4 conductors. We've got the ARC microphone with the 3.5mm input, and we've got another USB cable, this one being USB to micro. Closed cell foam holds all of those accessories in place and helps protect the top of the unit. And then we see some of the accessories as in the form of the room correction microphone stand and other things. Always easier to roll it over, and I'll show you why in a moment, because it's so simple to take the box off a heavy product. And this is where the standardisation of some of the boxes with Anthem has come in. See a lot of this free space. It's actually packed towards the top of the unit, obviously to protect it from underneath from potential damage. And it's underneath that we're going to pause and have a look. We see all of the power cords. There's actually 4. Somewhere in there is a New Zealand power cord, in fact the only one I really care about. So we'll get rid of those. And we see a traditional unearthed, so 2-pin IEC power cord. Rolling it over, pretty straightforward to then take the closed cell foam off. Carefully lifting that off and taking the room correction microphone stand out. And then rolling it over and taking the last piece of closed cell foam. The unit itself is in an oversized plastic bag, and that is taped closed with some pretty robust fabric reinforced tape. But as you can see, you can kind of tear at it and get it to open without the use of the craft knife if you don't want to. Now the preamp itself, you start to get an understanding of its physical size, and it's not massive. The packaging is obviously, again, standardised for some of the larger products. But before we have a look at the product, we'll have a look at some of the accessories again. We see the ARC mic stand. Now this, you may be familiar with it as far as the unboxing that I've done from some of their AV receivers. But again, it's wonderful to see such elaborate accessories included. So what we've got now is a duplication of some of the accessories. We see a microphone over there which is related to the basic setup, and we see the more elaborate version in here. We've got a big long USB cable. Now this is a filler because it's not using the USB microphone. There's a network cable in this box, and then a cool tripod stand. Now please, if you're going to do it, you should, because the improvements that can be delivered using the room correction can't really be emphasized more. When you're dealing with something with the processing capacity of this STR preamp, you should be utilizing the room correction, because it is correcting not only the room but the speakers and everything associated with it. You can lift the performance between 5 and 15% just by spending a little bit of time doing the equalization process. And because of that, of course, they include one of these stands with the product. Now, look, if you want to see detailed photographs of the stand itself, hang around, check out some of the other videos that I've done. But it's just more of proof of concept that the unit itself comes with an elaborate microphone stand as part of the setup accessories. Okay. Right, now, concentrating on this beast of a preamp. It is protected with a cloth bag. Now, it's one of those soft cloth bags that you could almost use to polish the unit, and it's great to see that they've protected every element of this in transit. Taking the bag off because of its large size is pretty straightforward. Just a simple rocking motion and slip it off. we get to see for the first time this stunning product. The design is emulated throughout the entire STR range and many of the other power amplifiers with this beautiful full colour display, logo and other things associated with the units that it is designed to be connected to. As a standalone preamp with the room correction, you could end up adding this to any number of different amplification configurations if you choose. But it's cosmetically designed to be matched with the STR power amplifier, and it has cool little digital VU meters and other things like that too. Please hang around as always for some close-up photographs. I'll turn the unit on and we'll get to see the elaborate screen and things as well. So obviously the Anthem logo, an implication of the model, the STR Preamp on the front, then the colour display. Then we've got the ability to navigate and select through the menu, the ability to select left and right, previous and next as far as moving through the setup menu, as well as selecting inputs. And we've got a mute button and an overall power button. Now obviously that's not a relay, it's just controlling the microprocessors to be able to light this thing up. And a big central rotary encoder as far as its operation and navigation as well. Primarily, of course, we're going to use that to change the volume. Tipping it forward, we see a very elegant approach to its design. We've got stamped in the steel the branding Anthem, and some oversized screws to ensure that the chassis is firmly in place and won't rattle both front and at the back. The unit itself, because it's so processor driven, isn't necessarily very big inside, but there's more than enough ventilation to ensure that at its peak performance it's going to have all of the ventilation required, and you'll see that as I tip it up. It's worth mentioning that it's off to this side we have the regulated power supply, and of course as we look at the back we see that it's obviously matched up with the IEC input. The quality of this product can't be overstated. They've even tipped the connections for the power with a gold plating to maximise potential conductivity. Looking at the inputs and outputs, we see a couple of critical elements. Firstly, we've got a significant number of RCA outputs associated with configuring this for any number of different things. There's a full theatre bypass, so these outputs are labelled associated with a theatre configuration. Then we've got a series. Now, of course, please, if you've just got front, left and right, you're just going to use those, but it has two subwoofers and then a line out, of course, as well. And again, you can use this as a theatre bypass if required. Then we see 4 balanced outputs, and why there's 4 is because it will also run 2 balanced subwoofers. And again, that comes down to the configuration and setup capabilities of this product as we start to run large speakers and large subwoofers potentially. So we see them listed as front right, front left, and sub right and sub left in the balanced configuration, and again gold plated connectors. Beside it we've got a couple of balanced inputs, and again these are simply labelled 1 and 2. You can use the setup and on-screen, the front displays setup to be able to then configure those and label them for whatever you might need. Then we see a traditional analog inputs, including the bypass I mentioned and subwoofer as well. Then we see 2 dedicated phono inputs, each specific to a moving magnet and a moving coil input. And then a very large, in fact perhaps oversized, chassis screw associated with the earthing of both the turntables, but also, in my recommendation, the earthing and linking of the chassis between any power amplification. That ensures that microscopic amounts of potential hum or earth issues are going to be eliminated as we strap the earth together of these products. Above the phono input we've got a couple of control things, IR in and trigger out, for the cascade of other power amplifiers or connected inputs. We've got RS232 control, and we've got network-based control along with the USB for software updating. We see a traditional USB for the purposes of software updating as well off a pen drive, but this could also be utilised to power a 5-volt device, albeit low current. Then we see probably some of the more modern things that we are now expecting to see from some of the better products, and that's the digital ins. Via the asynchronous USB, it'll run 32-bit 384 kilohertz signals. So that's DSD and all of those very high bandwidth digital formats. But via the ASEBU, Coaxial and 2 optical inputs, it'll run the 32-bit DAC, the 32-bit 192K DAC. It upsamples and all of those things as you would expect, and it's frightfully good, like scarily good for its price. So looking again at its side and understand its ventilation, again it's got lovely feet and all of those types of things. Disket bag associated with keeping this thing dry in transit, and it's brilliantly made. I mean, I guess what these videos never portray is the build quality, and this is utterly superb. So there we have it. Anthem's STR stereo preamp, fully balanced, separate phono preamps, utterly stunning, and room correction on board. There we have it, unboxed here at the listening post in Christchurch, New Zealand. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more, subscribe to our channel.